There are tons of business podcasts to choose from, but only one has the stamp of approval. Kristin Stampini is South Florida's leading real estate entrepreneur and your trusted source for everything real estate.
I would like to welcome my listeners and thank you for joining us today for another episode of my podcast, Stamp of Approval. I'm Kristin Stampini, co-founder of the Stampini Platinum Real Estate Group with RE/MAX in Boca Raton, Florida. I'm also a certified real estate coach with Craig Proctor Systems and the owner of Global Virtual Real Estate Assistants. You may have heard us on the radio. I'm a real estate investor, a national trainer and public speaker, and a certified inside sales agent trainer. So the Stamp of Approval podcast was launched just a couple months ago. And the reason why I did launch it is to educate other realtors, consumers, and other business owners across North America by sharing value and content and bringing the very best guests on the show. Today, one of my very best friends, Michel Belisari, she is here with me. And, you know, I like to share my triumphs and my failures and everything else. And also, you know, things that are going to be very, very valuable to my listener. So Michel, you know, Michel is special. I've known Michel since I started in real estate. She's seen me go through the good, the bad, and the ugly, as well as I've seen her
and the
through
highs
the same.
And the lows and the same. Yeah.
That's
We've
right.
always kind of been
yin to the yang.
Yeah, the yin to the yang, baby.
You know, Michel, we call her Michel B,
Yay.
you know, is a midlife mama of the millennials, wife, realtor, marketer, lifestyle blogger, and a fan of the niche life. She loves social media and really, she's definitely addicted to vlogging.
Yeah, I am, because I may be doing that right now. So
She is. She's over there doing that. Michel loves to use social media to promote herself, and her brand. So Facebook Live, you know, she loves that. And today, you know, what Michel is really going to be talking about today is YouTube. Okay, because YouTube is one of the social media sites, YouTube and Pinterest, that really are SEO driven.
yeah, for sure.
So, and Michel is out there. She's out there and she talks about, oh no, you know, I just go in and I just am casual. Well, she is, but she's beautiful with no makeup on or makeup, a hat or no hat.
Are you crazy?
No, I'm not. And you are. And you
Thank
just
you.
do it and you're
Thank you.
natural at it.
Thank you.
So having
God
you.
for the filters.
Well, you're good. And to really have you here today is special, and
Thank
because you're
you.
such a close friend as well. And I really appreciate to the listeners out there, from realtors to consumers to other business owners. And, you know, Michel here really sharing YouTube and how you can, and what you can do to gain business and how you can, you know, brand yourself on YouTube.
Right.
So, Michel, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. This is great.
Aw.
Great way to segue into November.
That's right.
Yeah, or December or whenever.
Yeah. And this year, 2018.
Oh my gosh.
Woohoo. So getting ready for 2019. This is a great episode for people because, you know, them thinking about the 2019 and what they're going to do and where they're going to be at in business wise. When did you start with YouTube and how did you start with YouTube?
Okay, so this is the funny story. I'm going to tell everybody, go back and look at your YouTube channel because it'll say when you started. And I think it said mine was like 2009. But
Wow.
it was all listings, you know, like
Yeah.
you hire a photographer company and then they upload your listings. And, you know, there's no rhyme or reason to it. They're just up there floating around. And then I think I had two accounts. December, right before New Year's, okay, I sat down.
When?
This past year.
Okay.
I went, I really need to get my crap together with YouTube because I'm hearing that YouTube's really the place to be. It's awesome, but it's hard. You know, how do you get started on YouTube? So I started watching some people on YouTube. I love Sunny Lenarduzzi. She's freaking awesome. Also Canadian. And I love her style. And I started learning a lot of, you know, the techniques and, I would watch these, like, she has short videos too. So I'd watch, like, how do you set up your video intro? Okay, how do you set up what's going to go into your bio on there? Like, I started like researching this, and the other gal is Amy Landino, Vlog Like a Boss, who's from Columbus, by the way.
Wow.
And so I started watching these two women, and I'm like, oh, this makes sense. I've got a lot of video banked, but there is a structure and strategy to it. So I finally started trying to figure it out. And part of it was having a thumbnail. You know, when you go on YouTube, you see these people are like, and they have their fingers pointing to different words and stuff. Well, that's a way to, pull people in. And then you add your video, and then there's a whole piece of it where you have to keyword it all. So I started trying to understand how to use that. And one of the things I used was something called TubeBuddy, which
what is it?
TubeBuddy. It's a way to
Tube, T-U-B-E?
TubeBuddy. It's a Chrome extension that I think is Chrome extension that you can add. And what it does is it helps you determine keywords that are really searchable, but have lower competition. Like you'll see the high ones, but you want to go with low competition. So I started looking at how to start adding those pieces to it. And I was playing around with how to do these thumbnails, these little covers. And someone said, well, I use this platform called Canva, canva.com. It's awesome. And once you set up a thumbnail, you can just, plug and play. And so I started doing that. And my first videos were like, okay. And then, the more I thought about it.
How long were they?
Oh, they're all over the place. They're all different lengths. I think YouTube really likes at least a 20-minute video, but honestly, this Aries can't do 20 minutes that often. So some of mine are 7 minutes. Some of mine are 3 minutes. It just depends, because what I started to do was I did it for Soboka. I had my listing videos on there. I'm like, and then I had some videos on there for the consumer. And one of the things that you can do is I didn't want to switch my channel because it was already on there. So I started to set up my playlists. And if you go on my YouTube channel, which is Michelle Belisari, you'll see I have a playlist for listings, a playlist under Sip Social Sell, a playlist for Soboka Faves, a playlist for Soboka Travels, and a playlist, I think, for the consumer, so that there's things on there and 5 tips on how to downsize, 5 seller tips that will bring you luck. There's like all of these little concepts and things that you can do that will, if you think about it, Kristin, if you're wanting to go on YouTube, what's going to pull you in? What subject line and what kind of thumbnail is going to make you want to watch something,
So it's not about branding?
It is about branding. But once I figured out how I wanted to run with this, and I could brand it properly. So I have a branded cover. And again, in Canva, I just made it myself because it gives you the dimensions for YouTube cover like it does for all the social media platforms. And I started to brand myself on there with the right keywords. And then I also have to tell you, I ran into a fantastic gal named Karen Carr with Keller in Savannah. And she has a great YouTube course, and I did that. And it really took what I was doing to a different level. You start to learn something, and then what we were talking earlier was scaling and how to scale. And so the other piece to keyword research is Google My Keyword, I think. I can't remember the exact name of it, but it's also a way to start adding appropriate keywords. So when you actually do your YouTube video, you've got the video itself, you are, putting all these components in there, and you're using it to brand yourself so that, for example, if I have someone who wants to work with me, I can direct them to my channel. I can drop a YouTube link into an email. I can drop it into a social media post. There's a lot of things I can do with my YouTube videos without having to repeat myself all the time. Like, oh, okay, your parents are older, they need to downsize. I have something here on tips that they need to do in order to get their home ready. Oh, you're a first-time home buyer? I've got a video for you. Take a look at this. Here are some tips that you need to do and understand as a first-time home buyer. Oh, you're relocating? Here's 7 tips for you. Here's a video. Oh, and then I take those YouTube videos and I drop them into a blog post. So
Wow.
I get that Google juice going from YouTube and then onto the blog.
Wow. Okay. So how about hashtags on YouTube?
They have a new thing with the hashtags. I think mine do come up for the different ones. It's not as heavy hashtag, in my opinion, and that's just me as, say, Instagram.
Okay.
So hashtags I don't worry too much about. It's really about going into it when you're doing your video, okay, and making sure that you're saying certain keywords, I believe, in the video so that when you do your subject line, it reverts back to that, and then also in the body of when you're reading the description of the video.
Wow. So you actually want to say it as your subject line. And I believe you don't want to do it too much either, right?
You don't want to cram it in. But for example, I did one recently called, I think it's called Moving to Boca Raton. So, I'm talking about moving to Boca Raton in the video. So that's definitely in my body of.
When I was really doing short sales in my niche, I did quite a few videos, for people on.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah. And actually what I did is I would go and I would Google myself and I would, from other people's computers, and I would rank at the high, on it. So SEO is driven by video.
Huge amount. And the thing is, you could come up with topics. Just Google topics that you're interested in and see what their subject lines are, like look at what's ranking on that first page and then come up with a spin. Don't copy anybody's stuff, but come up with something that makes sense to what you're doing. And I mean, YouTube's really pretty cool. I mean, it's a tough space too, because it's, people have been on that for a long time. I'm so new at it. Like my views on there are like minimal, but here's the thing. If you get to 100 subscribers, then you can customize your URL. So mine is youtube.com/Michelle Belisari. Got to get to 100. So you got to work with your friends and say, hey, Kristen, do you mind subscribing to mine? I'll subscribe to yours. You help each other out. Leave comments. If you like someone's YouTube video.
You're very good at that, by the way.
Thank you.
You
make
are.
Comments.
But see, I don't think people realize that making comments is huge.
It is huge. And people
the
want to know
engagement.
that, they want to know that you like what.
Well, you're high eye.
Well, yeah, I'm a high eye.
So her
Kristins
high eye,
eye.
she always likes, personality-wise, we talk about different personalities. And Michelle's your social, your social butterfly, Michelle B. So, but she also likes that, she likes that interaction and things.
I do. And then I have my time where I don't.
Right.
You and I have actually talked about that, which always surprises Kristen when I go, no, I'm a social one. She's like, no, you're not. I'm like, yeah. Ask Andy. I stayed in my pajamas for 2 days working on something.
That's
and he's
so funny.
Like, really? Do other people do that? I'm like,
oh yeah.
Look, here's all my Instagram proof. Look, she's in the same gray shirt. This is a friend of mine out in Arizona. Love you, Chels. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's just, we get that way. But I like.
But when we're focused on something.
Yeah, when we're focused on something. And I like the fact that there's different options with social media that you can use based on your personality and what works for your business. So YouTube, yes, it's social, but it's a search engine. Pinterest is social, but it's a search engine. Social media, Facebook, Instagram. And guys, I got to tell you, if you're not on LinkedIn, get your butts over to LinkedIn because it is really, really good right now. It's kind of wide open. It's not too crazy, and it's shifted personality-wise. So people can go on and be like, I'm in a little leather jacket today. You don't have to be all buttoned up. People just want good content. They want good resources, and they want great information.
On everything. On all social media. On YouTube. On everything that you can go on. That's what people are looking for, content and value. And that's what I try to bring to you guys as my listeners every single week.
Now, one thing I was also going to say about YouTube, farm stuff out. We've been talking about virtual assistants and, leveraging, people to help you out. I go on Fiverr. I had an intro done. I had an outro done. Cost me $5. Okay, that's done. I do have someone now that if I don't want to edit the videos myself, because I did take that great boot camp that Mark was at, up in Orlando, I can edit my videos, but I do farm it out because listen, there's only so much time in the day. I have somebody slice it and segue it for me and send it back to me and caption it. How caption, I don't have time for that. So I'll send that. It's like $10. But I don't do that on every video, but I do it on a few one.
Absolutely.
And that's good to know.
And so for the listeners here today, the consumers, the realtors, and, other business owners, give us just 3 great tips that they can do on YouTube to get started, or if they already have a channel, what they can do to get out there, to get the SEO out there and the juices. And how often should they be posting on YouTube?
Typically what I see is people post once a week and they tell their followers, I post every Monday.
That's what I do on podcasts, right?
I post every Thursday. I post, consistency is key. I would say look at people in your space and not in your city, in your space, because don't copy people. Don't step on toes.
Right.
I really
no.
don't like that.
No.
But go go somewhere like different state and look at someone, what they're doing, and see what makes their channel so appealing to you, and then adopt some of the things that they're doing. Take a look at my channel, and then take a look at Karen Carr's channel, and then take a look at, like, there's, people out there that have really, really, like, way better than me. Alex Wang, great YouTube guy out in California. I mean, these are people that have really good YouTube channels that you can learn from. So for sure, add things that make sense for your business. And I would say study how to do it, but don't go crazy with it. It's not supposed to be perfect. It's some of it's raw, and you look at mine, and then set up playlists, because I think playlists are wonderful. And that way, if a consumer comes to your page, like in my case, we have Soboka, and then we have the consumer aspect. They don't have to watch that if they don't want to. I hope they will. But then I have the whole piece that's broken down just for the consumer, and I can send that link with just that out to a potential prospect.
Yeah, that's great. That's great advice. And the thing is having it broken down so people can look at different things. And you said that there's really not a, time frame, YouTube likes 20 minutes, but
that's what I read or heard that the other day. And that's probably about right. But I also repurpose a lot, because what comes up all the time. People already ask you this too. It's like, how do you have time for this? I repurpose things. It depends on what I need. I bank them. I set up photo albums on my phone, because a lot of what I do is on my phone.
Sure.
And I save the videos and whatnot, and then I'll upload them to Dropbox in a YouTube file. And then if I need to go back, I do. And the one thing I learned from the boot camp last November was to get what they call B-roll. So if I'm doing something on Boca or Delray or I'm in Boynton or whatever, and I want to insert the beach or palm trees or whatever, I've got all that kind of stuff. So you try and make it simple on yourself. And,
so simple, post once a week.
Yeah.
Research.
Yeah. Keyword research is huge. The right keywords will get you great views. Like right now, I'm creeping up to 10,000 views on my channel, which is nothing. But I was at like 800 views like in January. So
well, that's awesome.
So now it's starting to but I'm trying to be more consistent. I would say I'm not the best consistent person on there.
So even
but
if
I'm
you
trying
spend
to be better.
30 minutes a week.
I'm trying to be better with that, because it takes a little while to curate it and make sure it's doing its thing. And what do they say? Sonny Lenarduzzi says the first 24 hours are key. If you upload a YouTube, make sure it goes out so people know that it's out there. Put it in an email blast. Put it out there so people are actually going to watch it.
And how do you get subscribers?
It's funny you should ask that, because I wasn't sure how to do that at first. And then I started looking for friends on YouTube. And one of the things that came up, because I'm in this mastermind group, it turned out a lot of people I knew had YouTube channels, and none of us were really doing as much with them. And so we all kind of said, well, listen, we need to start, supporting each other.
That's right.
Follow me.
Follow you.
Subscribe
Right.
to my channel. Subscribe. So, that's why when you watch a YouTube video, people say, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And, the finger pointing up, down, sideways, whatever. And, but that's key. And that's how you get people to, be able to build your channel. And the 100 is key.
Yeah.
Because then you can brand yourself, whereas
you can do a lot more as soon as you get the 100.
Once you get the 100, that way your name's on there.
Right. So you just want to shoot for the 100, make it simple.
Ask your Facebook friends.
No professional. Do not be professional with these.
You don't have to be overly professional. Now, some people are, and they have camera people around. Like we were talking about Gary Vee, and there's people who have camera people around.
But he didn't start that way either.
No,
people like it to be where it's
a little more raw and fun.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, and you can find like students who want to build their portfolio.
Yep.
To grow it, or
go to the colleges.
Go to Fiverr, and find someone on Fiverr. And I actually had someone recommend the person that I'm using, and I'll send it over and like, hey, can I get this in 3 days? This is what I'd like, and I've learned how to break it down. Now that was like big mess, total high eye. Here, can you just put that on there? And then she's like, well, I kind of need to know like where.
No direction.
But I'm like, yes, at 30 seconds I want this, and then at 60 seconds I want this, and yeah.
So giving the direction, getting some help, getting some cheap help, and then also, so Michelle, you do help the social media people out there, and you do offer some coaching if they want it, just setting it up basic or more in depth or anything else. So how can the listener reach out to you?
They can just go to sipsocialcell.com and send me a little email. I've got some freebies on there too. I've got like a 27-point freebie on Instagram for realtors, or even if you're a small business or consumer, it doesn't matter. But I did it mainly for realtors because they were like, we don't know what to do. I'm like, so I started putting it together, and now it just keeps growing and growing and growing.
Yeah,
you know,
so
I
that's
keep
awesome.
adding every time Instagram changes stuff. I'm like, oh, and you can do this. So I go in and I have my virtual assistant. I'm like, hey, can you update that in MailChimp? I'm a complete flop at MailChimp. I freaking hate that platform. But with that being said, I'm having somebody else handle it for me.
Wow.
Brutal.
Wow. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for joining me today. It's so awesome.
Oh,
my
this is
buddy.
great. I know. And we have a big game coming up in November.
Yes.
By the way. And by the way, we might be up there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Probably not at the game.
We're talking about Go Blue
Fringing.
Michigan Wolverines.
The Ohio State University.
Yeah.
And I'm a Gator.
Yeah. Yes, she is. And
Flop this weekend.
I'm 100% Wolverine. And maybe this year we can actually do something.
Well, didn't I send you a scarf one year? I mean, that was brutal for me. I'm like, I sent her a
Oh, that was
I need
awesome.
to get you something, right? And I think, let me get her.
Yeah, she got me a Michigan scarf. That was awesome. But my Michigan Wolverines, maybe for the first year with Jimmy Harbaugh, maybe, just maybe. Oh, I'm